You're watching Capital Connection from the Illinois State Capitol.
Welcome back. Joining us now from Washington, D.C. is U.S. Senator Tammy Duckworth to react to President Trump's trip to Helsinki and his praise of Vladimir Putin. Senator, good to have you with us.
Hi, Mark. How are you?
I want to ask you right out of the gate about your initial response. You said that it was, quote, a very real possibility that Vladimir Putin has compromised our commander-in-chief and turned him, perhaps without his knowledge, into a Russian asset. If we just pause and view that from a historic lens, that's quite a stunning charge from a sitting U.S. senator about an American president. What evidence do you have that gives you any confidence in that theory?
Well, the fact of the matter is the president is turning his back on his own intelligence agencies and denying the facts that are at hand, saying that Russia has interfered with our elections. And not only once, not only twice, but multiple times, this president has time and again said that he actually trusted Vladimir Putin's word above the word of our own intelligence services, the same people that he put into these leadership positions. So I can't think of any other reason why this president would continue to do that, other than the fact that, that the Russians have managed to convince him that their word, the word of Vladimir Putin, is actually something that he should trust more than that of our own agencies here in the United States.
On the CBS Evening News, President Trump did say that he would hold Vladimir Putin personally accountable for the actions of Russia. Have you seen any action that would lead you to believe that that's taking place, that that's happening?
I've seen zero action on the part of this administration. I've also seen no action really in terms of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle. You hear a lot of people expressing outrage, but then nothing happens. I want to see some real movement towards, real sanctions that should be put into place against the Russian Federation, and specifically for the actions that has to do with interfering with our elections. And none of that is happening. And certainly the president in his meetings with Vladimir Putin has not expressed any type of a sentiment of holding Russia accountable, because in his own mind and in his own words, Russia didn't do it.
In your statement, you said when given the chance to condemn Russia's actions, Donald Trump refused again and again. The president, he's explained this rationale. He said these public condemnations are really just words and they don't really accomplish much. So beyond satisfying his critics, what substance, what good would it do for the president to verbally and openly rebuke Vladimir Putin?
Well, look, he's the leader of the free world. The United States is the leader of the free world. His words have consequences. And at the same week that he called our longest allies, greatest allies in NATO, the enemy, he called Russia our friend. And Russia, this is the nation that has attacked us and attacked our democracy. And look, the president doesn't even have not only has he not done anything in terms of actions, he doesn't even have the words to condemn Russia. This is really troubling. He's the commander-in-chief of our military. And he said nothing about Russia, attacking us in cyber warfare. And it's quite astonishing to me that a president of the United States would cozy up to the Russians the way our president has.
Of course, it's no secret the president has been very willing to criticize people, places, and things throughout his time in politics. I want to turn to that question of election security. There's a big election coming up in Illinois just this November. What's your degree of confidence that the voting systems are secure in Illinois?
I have some real concerns. You should know that the Russians actually hacked Illinois' voter files. So they actually compromised. It was specifically the Russians. We have evidence of that. They were the ones that compromised Illinois' voter files, and they got Illinois' voter files in 2016. I would, if you were responsible, I would assume that they're going to do the same thing again this election cycle. So what I say to the voters is make sure that their paper ballot process is there. When you go to vote, make sure that there is that paper ballot confirming the votes that you have cast, and check on that, and don't accept the ballot being cast if there's not a paper trail. And that is really one of the safest things we can do. I have some real concerns that our states, not just Illinois, but other states around the country, do not have the financial resources to really secure our election systems. And that's where I really would like to urge my colleagues here to let's come together and find ways to provide the funding to make sure that our electoral process is secure.
And Senator, before we let you go, one big story that really got swept under the rug with a lot of this other news this week. You mentioned turning politicians into assets for Russians. There's Another force that often can turn politicians into assets, you might say, for corporations, though, and that's through campaign contributions or dark money. And just this week, dark money got even darker because the Trump administration, Treasury Secretary Mnuchin, and the IRS told a lot of 501c4s, these politically active nonprofits, that they no longer have to disclose information about where they get their money from. Where do you stand on this, and what should Congress do about it?
Well, we need to overturn Citizens United, which basically has allowed this dark money to flow. And the case with the NRA is that in 2016, it was shown that NRA accepted vast amounts, exponentially larger in the terms of tens and hundreds of millions of dollars of money in the dark money accounts where they don't have to disclose where that money came from. And it's been shown to be linked to elements within Russia. And then they turn around and took that money and spent it on the election to support pro-gun, which is basically Republican candidates. And so that's a real concern. I think we should get rid of all of that. I fully support public financing of campaigns. Let's get all of the corporate money out. Get all of that money out. We have publicly funded campaigns. One of the things we can do, at the very least, it should be all be transparent. So you should be forced to disclose every dollar that you get, and there should be no more dark money.
All right, Senator, thank you for joining us. We're back in just a moment with our Reporters Roundtable.